Welcome to Food Stories, the show that gives you the story behind some of the world's most popular and beloved food. We'll also serve you with simple recipes, fun facts, and tips in cooking and preparing these food favorites. So what are you waiting for? Let's delve deeper as we tickle your brains and taste buds. This is Food Stories. Coleslaw. The coleslaw is a type of salad that consists mainly of shredded raw cabbage and a dressing which is either vinaigrette or mayonnaise. There also exists a number of variations to the basic coleslaw recipe. Sometimes, coleslaw is prepared with other ingredients such as shredded carrots, red cabbage, onion, pepper, pineapples, apples, or with a different dressing. But pretty much the base ingredients remain the same. The term coleslaw comes from the Dutch term koolsla, which is a combination of kool, meaning cabbage, and sla, a shortened term that refers to salad. When Dutch settlers migrated to New York, they also brought with them the recipe for a chilled cabbage salad, the koolsla. Eventually, the term became associated with cold because the salad was served cold, and the confusion with the terms cool and cold may have created the Americanized term coleslaw. Today, coleslaw remains a popular type of salad and is sometimes even used as a side dish or a condiment to accompany both fast food and restaurant food. Coleslaw also evolved into a food category on its own, as different regions serve their own versions of coleslaw based on localized tastes. Making coleslaw could not be any easier. Here's how. You will need 1 green cabbage head, 1 carrot, 2 green onions thinly sliced on the diagonal, 4 tablespoons mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon yellow mustard, 2 teaspoons vinegar, 1/8 teaspoon black pepper. Start by rinsing your cabbage and carrot. Next, proceed to chop up the cabbage into thin uniform slices. Next, take your carrot and peel it. Use a large grater to shred the carrots into strips. Then, take the cabbage and carrots and place into a large enough bowl. Add in the remaining ingredients to form the dressing, then proceed to mix everything up. Make sure that the cabbage and the carrots are well coated with the dressing. Add some pepper to taste. You can serve it immediately or place it in the fridge to cool. Tip: to keep the crisp texture of cabbage in the coleslaw, toss the shredded cabbage with a tablespoon of salt before even making your coleslaw. Then, let it sit in a colander for an hour before making your coleslaw. Doing so will keep your cabbage crisp even after mixing with the dressing. Spring rolls. Spring rolls are a type of dim sum or food that is rolled or wrapped. The spring roll is a staple among East Asian and Southeast Asian cuisine. The term spring roll comes from the Chinese translation of the term chunjuan. According to historical records, the spring roll's origins can be traced back to China. During the Jin Dynasty, the Chinese people would traditionally make thin flat cakes out of flour and eat these with vegetables during the first day of spring. The tradition goes that this dish should be served to friends and relatives to welcome spring and attract blessings and good luck. Today, there are countless variations of the spring roll that can be found in most parts of Asia, but the basic methods and preparations remain the same. Check out this popular spring roll recipe you can try at home. You will need 2 pounds or 1 kilogram ground beef, 2 teaspoons ginger, minced. 1 cup carrots, minced. 1 cup onions, minced. 2 teaspoons garlic powder. 2 teaspoons salt. 1 teaspoon ground black pepper. 1 tablespoon cooking oil. 3 cups cooking oil for deep frying. Spring roll wrappers. Start by heating the 1 tablespoon cooking oil in a frying pan. Next, sauté the ginger and onions until they are soft and browned. Add in the ground beef and cook for about 5 to 6 minutes until the meat is brown. Next, add in the carrots, sesame oil, salt, garlic powder, and pepper, then cook for an additional 3 to 5 minutes. Turn off the heat, then set aside. Next, prepare your spring roll wrapper for wrapping. Take about 1 to 2 tablespoons of the beef mix and place it in the middle of the wrapper. Then, roll the wrapper and use a dab of water to seal it. Do the same with the remaining beef and wrappers. Next, take your 3 cups oil and heat it up in a deep pan. When the oil is hot, proceed to deep fry the spring rolls until they are golden brown. When done, drain the excess oil, then serve. Fun fact: the turon or lumpiang saging is a Filipino snack food that is a combination of the Spanish turon, a type of hard caramelized sweet, and the Chinese spring roll. The turon is made with slices of bananas wrapped in spring roll wrapper, then sprinkled with brown sugar. Hash browns. Hash browns or hashed browns is a type of dish that is quite simply made of prepared fried potatoes. The hash brown is made by pan frying or pan grilling shredded or diced potatoes. Sometimes the term hash or hashing is used to refer to this type of cooking method. But in most parts of North America, hash browns specifically refers to the potato dish. The origins of hash browns are not quite as defined, and very little is known about it. One of the first mentions for the term hash browns comes in a 1900s edition of the Oxford English Dictionary, where the original term was hashed brown potatoes. Hashing, as a food preparation method, first came about during the 1500s, where other types of food, usually vegetables, were prepared in a similar manner. Today, hash browns still remain as a popular breakfast menu because it is quite cheap and easy to prepare. Quite a number of hash brown variations exist in different regions and are tailor-made to suit local tastes. Here's a simple, quick, and easy hash brown recipe that you can try at home. You will need 2 large potatoes peeled, 3 tablespoons butter, salt and pepper to taste, a pinch of cayenne pepper, a pinch of paprika. You will also need a non-stick pan. Start by using a shredder to shred the potatoes in a large bowl filled with water. Stir in the potatoes until the water becomes cloudy, then drain. Pat the potatoes using a paper towel to dry them up. Next, take a large pan and heat it on medium. Then melt in the butter. Take your shredded potatoes and place them on top of the pan. Don't stir in the potatoes and just let them cook on one side. Sprinkle your potatoes with seasoning ingredients and adjust the taste to your liking. Let the potatoes cook for about 5 minutes or until one side is brown and the potatoes form a solid mass. Then, flip the hash brown and cook the other side as well. Fun fact: the potato you choose to use will affect the way your hash brown looks and cooks. If you want to create a crunchy hash brown that is a little fluffy on the inside and crispy on the outside, you should also use a flour potato. Waxy potato varieties hold their shape after grating with individual potato strands, forming a coarser-looking hash brown. Pad Thai. The Pad Thai is a popular Thai stir-fried rice noodle dish. It is a food that is served in street food carts and casual eating joints around Thailand. Pad Thai is usually made with soaked rice noodles, which is then stir-fried with eggs, tofu, tamarind pulp, fish sauce, dried shrimp, garlic, shallots, chili pepper, and sugar. It is usually served with crushed peanuts in a lemon or lime wedge. The dish was said to be inspired by the introduction of stir-fried rice noodles during the start of the Ayutthaya Kingdom in Thailand in the 1300s. The Pad Thai was based on these stir-fry noodle recipes, but it was adjusted to reflect the ingredients and flavors of the Thai taste palette. Pad Thai also holds some sort of historical significance in Thailand's history. Why not try this Pad Thai recipe at home? You will need 12 ounces or 340 grams of rice noodles, 2 tablespoons butter, 1 pound or half a kilogram chicken breast halves cut into bite-sized pieces, 1/4 cup vegetable oil, 4 eggs, 1 tablespoon vinegar, 2 tablespoons fish sauce, 3 tablespoons white sugar, 1 teaspoon red pepper, 2 cups bean sprouts, 1/4 cup crushed peanuts, 3 green onions chopped, 1 lemon cut into wedges. First, take your rice noodles and soak it in cold water for around 30 to 50 minutes. When the noodles are soft, drain them and set aside. Next, take a wok or large skillet. Melt your butter and sauté the chicken until browned, then remove the chicken and set aside. Next, take your oil and set the heat to medium. Next, add in the noodles, vinegar, fish sauce, sugar, and red pepper. Add in the chicken. Mix the ingredients together, then add in the bean sprouts. You can adjust the seasoning to taste. Crack in the eggs and cook until firm. Cook for an additional 3 minutes, then serve it with peanuts, green onions, and a lemon wedge. Fun fact! Pad Thai not only provides a symphony of spicy flavors, but it is a dish that can be easily adapted to suit the nutritional and calorie needs of any diet. Maple syrup. The maple syrup is a syrup or a sweet concentrate that is made from xylem sap found in maple trees. During cold weather, maple trees store starch in their roots and trunks. This starch is then naturally converted into sugars that are present in the maple tree saps that come out during springtime. Maple syrup is gathered from the trees by a process called tapping. Maple trees are tapped by boring holes in the tree trunks to collect the tree sap. When the sap is collected, it is then heated to evaporate the excess water content. The result is a concentrated sweetened syrup. The first people to make maple syrup were the indigenous peoples of North America. The practice of making maple syrup was said to be handed down in oral traditions between the indigenous tribes. In some tribes, maple syrup and sugar making was also part of rituals celebrating the first full moon of spring, or what they called the sugar moon. By the 16th to 17th century, maple syrup was one of the export goods coming out of the North American region. Although maple syrup can be readily available in stores, people in some parts of Canada and North America still opt to make their own maple syrup. If you live in a region where maple trees don't grow, you can still make maple syrup using concentrated maple extracts that you can buy in specialty stores. Here's how. You will need 1 cup water, 1 cup white sugar, 1 cup brown sugar, 1 tablespoon maple extract. Start by combining the water, the brown sugar, and the white sugar in a saucepan. Place the pan over medium heat and continue stirring until the mixture boils and everything is dissolved. After that, lower the heat and continue stirring, then add in the maple extract. Continue stirring the syrup until you get a nice viscous consistency. After that, simmer for 1 to 3 minutes. Remember to always keep stirring and keep an eye out to avoid burning the syrup. When done, let it cool, then serve. You can also store the excess syrup in a small jar or bottle. Fun fact: want to be an expert in maple syrup making? Or how about going on an in-depth study of maple syrup's history? The Alfred University in West New York offers a course that studies the origins, methods, and cultural significance of the maple syrup. Goulash. The goulash is a Hungarian dish that is a stew made up of meat and vegetables and is usually seasoned with paprika and other spices. It is one of the national dishes of Hungary and is also considered as one of its symbols. The term goulash comes from the Hungarian term gulyás. Gulya means a herd of cattle, while gulyás refers to the herdsman or shepherd. The origins of the dish can be traced back to the 9th century. Cattle herders would get meat supply from their own herds and prepare it by cutting the beef into cubes. The beef was then cooked with onion and water and was let to stew until the water was completely reduced. The resulting meat was then coated with paprika and was left to dry in the sun. Then the beef would be taken in bags made of sheep's stomach. When a herdsman was hungry, all he did was take a piece of the dried meat and added water for boiling. The resulting soup and meat became goulash. Because the Hungarian herdsmen were travelers, it did not take long before the dish spread in other parts of Europe like Germany. This would result to goulash becoming a staple dish not just for traveling herdsmen, but for the common folk as well. Restaurants would then start to serve goulash on the menu. In the 20th century, goulash would come to be known by visiting foreigners as a must-eat dish when visiting Hungary. You too can make goulash without being a herdsman. Here's a quick, modern goulash recipe you can try at home. You will need 1½ tablespoons olive oil, 500 grams or 1.1 pounds thinly sliced beef, 1 brown onion thinly sliced, 1 tablespoon paprika, 1 can condensed tomato soup, fresh parsley leaves chopped to serve, light sour cream to serve. First, heat your oil in a large frying pan. Next, take your onion and cook it in the pan. Then, add in the beef and cook it over high heat until browned. Cook all of the slices of beef, then transfer it to a plate. Now, add in the paprika and tomato soup. Then, combine the sauce with the beef. Lower the heat and let it simmer until the liquid is reduced. Season with salt and pepper, then serve. You can serve the goulash with rice and a dollop of sour cream and a parsley leaf as garnish. Tip: goulash can be served to accompany a wide variety of foods. Aside from using goulash as rice topping, you can also serve goulash with eggs, bread, vegetables, and sometimes even combined with macaroni pasta. Pizza. The pizza is a flat bread that is generally covered with a layer of tomato sauce and cheese and is commonly baked in an oven. Aside from the tomato sauce and cheese, pizzas also come with an assortment of toppings like meats, vegetables, and other condiments. The term pizza is suggested to have been derived from the Latin term picta or pita, which is a type of flat bread, and the Greek pisa, which means bran bread. The pizza was derived from early Greek traditions of covering flat breads with oil, cheese, and herbs. In the late 19th century, Italian immigrants to America would bring the pizza recipe with them. This in turn gave rise to more pizzerias and pizza chains. Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's are some of the most popular pizza franchises around the world today. Here's a simple pizza recipe that's based on the original pizza margherita. You will need 10 inches or 25 centimeters circular pizza crust, 100 ml or 3.4 ounces thick tomato sauce, 1 teaspoon dried basil, 1 garlic clove, crushed, 1 tablespoon olive oil, 1 cup mozzarella sliced, 1/2 cup Parmesan cheese, 5 cherry tomatoes halved. First, take your pizza crust and proceed to unwrap it. Then, using a spoon or a brush, drizzle the olive oil on top of the crust, then spread it evenly. Next, take a medium bowl and mix together the tomato sauce, garlic, and the basil. You can also add in pepper and salt to taste. Take your pizza crust and proceed to spread the tomato mix on top of it. Lay out the topping on top of your pizza, starting with the cheese and then the cherry tomatoes. For extra flavor, you can drizzle in some olive oil and garnish with a basil leaf. Next, preheat your oven to 240 degrees Celsius or 464 degrees Fahrenheit, then place the pizza inside. Bake the pizza for 8 to 10 minutes, just as the crust starts to brown. When done, carefully take out the pizza, then slice it and serve. Fun fact: the European Union officially recognizes and safeguards the Neapolitan pizza, or the true Italian pizza, as a traditional specialty guaranteed dish. That's all the time we have for this episode. But join us again next time as we give you more tips, more trivia, and more stories behind the food we all love. Be sure to check in next time for another serving of Food Stories.